I mean, what if you list your house at $549 and you don't get that $650 offer?
Right.
What happens then?
Right.
I think sellers would be wise to price their house at market value instead of below market value.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us at the Smart Start podcast. It's my pleasure to have with us from Powers Realty Group, Suzanne Powers, the owner and CEO, Gretchen Keating, the managing broker. Also joining us from the Equitable Bank is Gary Riebold, who's a senior lender. And thanks for being here at the Smart Start podcast. As we move into the spring season, Suzanne, what's your take on the current housing market?
We have very low inventory. Our buyers are desperate for houses. And the market is hot, hot, hot in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Are you seeing any differences between this year and last year?
I think it's more robust this year than it was last year as far as the nature of offers, more aggressive. The offers are the most aggressive offers I've ever seen in my 22-year career.
Okay. Why Milwaukee? What makes the Milwaukee market unique?
Why not? I mean, Milwaukee is great, right? Terrific schools, clean air, no natural disasters, still affordable, still really affordable for the average person. And you can get to downtown in about 8 minutes from almost any location. And we've got this gorgeous body of water called Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, Gretchen, are you seeing, is it primarily coming from relocations, or are we seeing people just from other parts of the country, or is it more from the Midwest? Is there anything in particular?
Well, predominantly it's from both coasts. It's coming from the East Coast and the West Coast, I mean, because it's affordable, as Suzanne says.
Yeah.
And then there are some move-ups, but predominantly it's people transferring to be in multi-generational homes now.
Is that right? Yeah,
Yes.
It's great. How many, so they're bringing their families with us, the grandparents
Or coming to
and
meet their
children?
families. Yeah, so
Okay.
so then they're combining incomes, combining households so that they can afford daycare and the people can still keep working their jobs and not worry about that extra expense.
Are there any particular neighborhoods you're seeing that are notable of growth or interest in particular right now?
Well, we focus on the North Shore.
Yeah.
So that's our primary focus. And you can't buy a house in the North Shore to save your life. Wouldn't you agree, Gretchen?
Agreed.
It's crazy out there right now. Absolutely crazy at every price point. It doesn't matter. We're seeing multiple offers on $2.5 million homes. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. So we talked a little bit about inventory. What's going to make it loosen up?
Well, I think that's a collaboration between the both of us on thought process on that one.
Okay.
Don't you agree, Gretchen? Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to loosen it up?
Well, we need some other creative lending options from Gary for sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, with people already blending their incomes, I mean, there's more money to spend. But ultimately, most people don't want to leave when they already have lower interest rates at their homes now because they could get a good number on their house, but they have nowhere to go.
Right.
There's no other alternatives that are still within the same vicinity.
So we're looking at but in the North Shore, is there opportunities for new construction at all?
Only if you're tearing down a house. And some of the developers in the North Shore, I can think of one in particular. He's doing such a great job. Every time he puts up a new house in Whitefish Bay, that house has multiple offers and sells just like that, even at $2 million.
Interesting.
Plus.
What's the importance of shopping for a qualified real estate agent when you're going to the market?
Oh, it's the most important. If you do not pick a broker or a real estate agent with the depth of experience, there's no way they can win you a house in this market if you're a buyer. The agent needs to understand how to write an offer in a competitive situation. And many times that means being creative with the inspection or certain timelines, giving an appraisal gap bonus, which I'm sure all the buyers are going to scratch their head right now watching this because they don't know what that means because they've never heard their agent do that. It's more than just the purchase price you're offering for the house. You can go $100,000, $200,000 over, which we are seeing, but unless your agent can really write that creative offer, they're likely going to lose the house for you. So for buyers, having that really seasoned agent is critical to your success in getting that house. Every buyer out there should be interviewing 3 agents before they select one, for sure.
Terrific. So what errors do you see happening when you're maybe on the buyer side? Do you see any errors that not obviously not you, but other agents are making?
Oh my gosh.
Many of them.
Where do you start?
Oh my God, Gretchen got in an offer last night, and I was there. She just went through it line by line. She's like, "This is wrong. This is wrong." No, when we get the offers in from the agents, you say it, not me. It matters who says it.
It ultimately turns out to be a disservice to the consumer, because when we come back and it's a seller's market, and we come back and counter them back with 10 items off the offer. Like, what does that consumer say when their agent goes, well, they counterattack on 10 points? It's like, what did we miss? Well, what didn't you hit? I mean, this is crazy, but it's a disservice because they don't know how to play the game. Like, they don't ask the right questions up front. Which levers to pull, which not to, which is in their best safeguards, which is a calculated risk. And no one has the education or the experience and the finesse to explain this to a buyer. If a buyer gets that, they're like, sure, I feel safe, and there's supporting data for it. But if you say just write the offer as an order taker, I mean,
you're going to lose. You're
Just
going to
better off
lose
just
the house.
dead
You're
on
gonna
arrival.
Lose the house.
Yep.
We had an inexperienced agent right on one of our new listings, and it's a seller's market, gang. It is a seller's playground right now. And that agent requested all the Oriental rugs on the first floor. Yeah, exactly. We're like, there's absolutely no way you're getting this house. I mean, the rug.
I don't even know if we can finance
the rug. Well, exactly. You cannot, right, Gary? You can't finance
Personal
Oriental
property.
rugs. You can't, can you? You can't. And
the dog.
You can't underwrite chattel, right? You can't
Correct.
underwrite personal property. So why are agents putting personal property in these offers when the lenders won't underwrite it? Why are they doing that, Gary?
Probably inexperience, as you said. What's kind of interesting right now is that I track this, being a veteran of several years of this, and I've never seen before such a small amount of good realtors controlling the market, being able to get their offers accepted. Before you had a bigger gap, but now if you don't have a person and a company who can help their newer agents be able to properly write an offer to purchase, it's not going to go anywhere. It's almost like you said, dead on arrival. Some people are professional offers to purchase writers, but never get them accepted.
Right.
And I think the smaller companies that have good management with them are really the ones to be looking at, because they know how to write the offers, and you got to have all those bells and whistles to get them accepted. I just had 3 of my offers that were very experienced agents got their offers accepted. One with a lower down payment, another with just normal financing and stuff, but they were creative in how they presented it in their offer, and that was not by accident.
Right.
One was a Powers agent that got her offer accepted, and there were a lot of people knocking on that they were in competition with. But I think that's the big thing is you got to hook up with the right realtor, and getting pre-approved beforehand helps. But eventually we'll get to them and get them set for financing. But the realtor is really the key thing right now.
I think that there's a national stat out there, not to interrupt you.
No, not at all.
I thought the
Please.
audience would like to hear this.
Absolutely.
So the new stat out there, and I totally believe this, is that the top 8% of realtors in the nation control most of the transactions that are occurring in their geographical area. So if you're like Gretchen and myself, top producers, and we've been top producers for 22 years, and that young buyer is coming to us, we're winning that offer. Most of the time, we win our offers. Wouldn't you say that, Gretchen?
Yes, it's very high, and that's why they come to us, because like we are successful. And then when we do have a consultation, because that's the difference. Like we bring them into the office and have a professional environment and go over the state forms so they understand all the stuff. Because when we say go and you got to write and you only have 3 hours to get this thing done, like the jitters are gone because like you've done all the ramp up work and they understand where the money's coming from, and it's all about the preparation.
Order taking is not really part of the game.
No,
Well, I just feel, in some ways, I think this is the best market ever to be a brand new agent if you have the right mentor, like Gary was saying. But at the same time, I'm just like, wow, as a new agent, this is all uphill because learning the skill of writing the offer is really where it's at.
and plus understanding the math of the value of the homes in which communities, because that's the biggest thing. Because there's a couple different strategies, seller directive or seller collaboration with the agent. Some of these are under market value based off what the environment is right now. So then when you tell a buyer you need to go X percent over, it's just like freeze frame. Like,
Yeah.
That's a good thing to talk about in this podcast.
Oh, yes.
Do you mind if I talk
Please,
about this?
Please.
So there is a trend in Milwaukee's North Shore that I absolutely hate. It's not my style. They're underpricing these houses, fair market value, $100,000 below the fair market value to get multiple offers. It's crazy. Like we wrote over the weekend, the house was listed at $549. I did the market analysis on it for the buyer. The fair market value came out to $649. I told the buyer you're going to have to write $680 or higher. Now, if you're a brand new buyer and a brand new agent, you're not going to understand that at all. And I wonder if it's kind of a strategy too that only the really skilled survive, because would you believe me if I told you you had to write $150,000 over asking to get the house? And oh, by the way, you might have to drop your home inspection
No, I wouldn't.
and your financing. You might have to write cash. I mean, that requires a lot of faith by the buyer.
Yeah.
And then what is the seller thinking? What if they don't get their $150,000 over asking fair market offer? At some point, that's going to happen. That could happen now with the stock market going as crazy as it is. I mean, what if you list your house at $549 and you don't get that $650 offer?
Right.
What happens then?
Right.
I think sellers would be wise to price their house at market value instead of below market value. I know it's a strategy, but it's not.
It's not necessary, is what you're saying? You don't think it's necessary?
I think it's uncovered because then you're getting the wrong pool of people to the house. So when someone says it's $650 or $550, and then you have $550 to pay for, a new buyer coming in and says, "Fine, I'll pay purchase price." And when buyers ask that, like, absolutely not. We're not going to waste your time. We're not going to. I mean. So it's truly an education. Like, no, hon, this is underpriced by X amount. Like, we have to start here. And their eyes are like saucers. They're like, really? Like,
They're
yes.
shocked.
Because there's a whole new buying pool coming in. And we're at the back end of the spring market now. So you got some new people coming to play. And it's just like, wow. So if you don't have that professional consultation inside our office or anyone's office to understand
Anyone's office, get a buyer consultation before you buy a house, please.
it's huge.
That's interesting about that, listing low. I had a actual experience 2 weeks ago where the house was listed low by 30 to 40,000. It was a 510 listing, and it should have been at least 550, if not. So I had two buyers who were buying it together, and they were using a agent that wasn't very creative and I just knew them. They were my clients, and they worked with a different real estate company. And anyhow, they went to the offer and said, "Oh my God, we're gonna." And I asked them, I said, "Well, how many cars were outside?" "Oh, 7 cars outside the offer, Mr. Rebold." And I said, outside the house, I said, "Well, you think it's going to be kind of a competitive?" "Oh no, we're going in at the list price. That's great." And they go put an offer in at the list price. All they would have had to do is go 40,000 over that, but it freaked them out. That why should we all of a sudden have to put that much over? That's insane. Well, they weren't ever taught
Educated,
to like that.
yeah.
And I'm not selling real estate, but it was, so I think you're right about that. Listed at what it should have been, they would have known what it was, and they would have probably had at least a competitive shot at doing it. Now, this one, they just had a total waste of time.
Real estate agents are required to be a instrument of public trust. It's in our licensure. It's the state of Wisconsin. We are licensed through the state, and I'm licensed in 2 states, Florida and Wisconsin. That level of public trust means you must tell the truth. It's in the standard of practice. So when we're coming in below market value and we're advising clients to list below market value, it's really unethical, in my opinion. And so it doesn't really match up, because if you're a buyer and you can afford $550, but the real value should be $650.
Or that's what's my pre-approvals for, and I can't get to $650.
It's really a disservice to the general public at large. Consumers should, the minimum requirement of being a real estate agent is to garner that public trust and really convey the truth of the markets so that people can make wise financial decisions when purchasing a home. So this under market value and these competitive offers, it's really unfortunate. First-time home buyers are so dismayed by what's going on, and it's not exactly the truth if you're underpricing houses. So I think that there's an ethical thread to this, don't you think so, Gretchen?
Yes.
And I think it would be wise for sellers to set the expectation correctly and price that house at market value so they're attracting the buyers who can actually afford their house. It's one thing to get 12 offers with a bunch of finance, and then you get that one cash offer. I mean, it's a strategy, but I don't know. I have an ethical, difficult problem with it, and maybe it's because I sit on the standards committee for the state of Wisconsin, the Ethics and Standards Committee.
Well, thank you for bringing that to the attention of our viewers. Yeah.
I just think, buyers, if you're out there and you're discouraged, call me. We can chat. And sellers, if you have questions about a selling strategy, we can talk about that. We'll always give you 3 options in selling your house, and sellers can select which option is best from them. But I think that we do have a responsibility as realtors to garner public trust.
So once we do the buyer consultation, we're writing the offers, we're showing them the markets, we're showing them the high and the low, and then they decide what they're comfortable with swinging on these houses. But at the end of the day, the biggest question is, am I overpaying for the property? Well, if you have 10 people that are writing on it and 5 are the qualified ones, no, because there's 4 other people that back up what you want and need what you want. Until there's more supply, then the demand's going to be like this. So everything's risen. There's not some slide in any community. It's all just a radius. It's just waves are going out. So if they can't find on the North Shore, they're going to the South Side, they're going west, they're going Mequon, they're going to all the counties. There's not one county that's suffering. I mean, farms are selling. I mean, hobby farms. I mean, everything is selling. It's just a matter of pricing on the now, you're going to get an accurate result. If you price it low, it's just going to be a frenzy. If you price it too high, then you're kind of going to sit a little bit.
Gotcha.
Because everyone's mindful of their money.
Yeah, thank you. I don't want to leave without talking about your mentorships and what makes the difference. Mentorship is clearly in your DNA.
Yes, it
Why
is.
is mentoring so important to both of you?
Well, I think you have to give back. I think if you're lucky, and I don't like to use the word luck, I've worked very hard for who I am, what I have, what we do. We both do. We work extremely long hours. Not so much anymore, but during the day.
Close enough.
It's just part of our lifestyle.
It is. It's just how we're wired, yeah.
But mentorship is extremely important to us, giving back and developing people. There's no greater gift as somebody who has a skill than to teach somebody else to do that skill, to teach them well and contribute to their lives. Taking care of other people is what you're supposed to do with your life. It's my purpose. It's my calling. This job is my calling. And when I share it with other people, I'm not just feeding them, I'm feeding their children. I'm feeding the community by teaching others. Yeah. I've been doing it for a long time. Even when I was in pharmaceutical sales, I got my first job out of college at Stewart Pharmaceuticals, and I went back to Whitewater to guest lecture for 10 years. And then I started to hire and recruit people for Stewart Pharmaceuticals and then subsequently Johnson & Johnson. And I've been doing that my whole life. It's just part of who I am. See one, do one, teach one. Yeah.
Thanks again, Susan, Gretchen, and Gary, for sharing your insight with us today. Fantastic conversation. Wish we could talk for hours and hours, but thank you again. And let's hope for a healthy spring buying season. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.